we have for today is a leadership topic that most people don't like to talk about.
Right.
And it's titled Cancel Culture and Leadership. I know that sounds like
Yeah. 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 When you mention the word cancel culture in the United States where we live right now, it's become a big debate because it's an ideology of what is called wokeism. People believe that there's a generation of people who, because they are woke, that's the word they use. They are woke. They are awake. If you use the word woke, is the concept is that they are awake, and they believe they are exposed. They believe that they are knowledgeable. They believe that they are. They believe that they know what is right, and they are trying to redefine stuffs. And so it's believed that that generation of people are the one that brought about the ideology of the cancel culture, whereby you treat people based on one mistake. You just delete them. That's the ideology. You cancel them. You take them off the equation. They are no longer relevant because in your eye they have messed up, because they have done something they are not supposed to do. So you take them off the grid. So, for instance, if a music star, someone who is a leader in the music industry, makes a statement that is offensive to me or to my woke ideology, I instantly begin to influence other people to stop listening to that music star.
wow.
And that's the idea, because I feel what that person said has offended my philosophy. So I mobilize. I use my opportunity on the internet, my influence, to tell people we need to stop listening to these guys. Now, is that right? Is that wrong? Well, let me not go into all the other things you want to talk about.
Dr. Badru, you just talked about something that is very important. And in fact, we are just getting into it.
Right.
Leadership is tough.
It is.
It's not easy to be in the front.
Yeah. Yeah.
When a leader is in the front, the leader is vulnerable to everyone.
Absolutely.
Everyone sees the weaknesses of the leader
Absolutely.
because the leader is in the front.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the heart of the matter is the matter of the heart. I want us to talk about the matter of the heart because when people make mistakes,
Right.
and we are all bound to make mistakes,
Right.
all of us.
Right.
I've never met someone in my life. I mean, I've been on this journey for 15 years, and I've never met someone who is so perfect,
Who's never made a mistake.
has never made any mistake.
Yeah.
In fact, if I meet someone who says I don't make mistakes,
Yeah.
then
You should run.
I'm gonna run.
You should run because that person is deceitful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I want us to look into this. When people mess up, whether in ministry, in business, or in politics, what do you think about forgiveness? Like, do you think it's okay to give them second chance?
So I think I have three things that I would say in response to this thought and question that you have asked. The first thing I'm going to say is that I think over the years, a lot of leaders have painted themselves as people who are above board, who cannot make mistakes. I think it is when you paint a picture of perfection to your followers or to the people that look up to you. And for example, most pastors have the tendency of painting themselves as, I've never had any problem with my wife. We don't have misunderstandings. I don't have financial issues. I don't struggle with my health life. So we have the tendency of portraying ourselves as leaders
Perfection.
as if we are perfect.
In everything.
And when you sell that image to people around you, they accept you. They take you like that. And they put high hopes. And they should put high hopes on you. They should trust your leadership. But when you sell to them that idea, ignorant idea, that you are never going to fall, make a mistake, you are never going to have issues in your family life, then people expect what they are not supposed to expect from you. And that's why many of them find it difficult to give such leaders a second chance. Because already you have sold this image to them that is not real. I was listening to Bishop T.D. Jakes. He's a leader I respect so much. You know, Bishop T.D. Jakes is not just a leader in the church. He's a leader in several fields. He has chains of businesses. He has organizations where he's the CEO and he leads. And he was saying one day that anyone who portrays himself as perfect is not a leader worthy of following. He said the reason is that that person is lying to you. That every soldier that goes to battle has scars to show for it.
Yes.
Every soldier that have gone to battle, they can never come back and say, I've never been wounded. So if a soldier comes and says, oh, I've never been wounded, that soldier is lying to you. At some point on the battlefield, you will get wounded. He said that's the same thing with leadership. In fact, he mentioned something that he said, if you go to a church where your pastor tells you, I've never messed up, I've never made a mistake, I've never been sick, I've never been poor, he said, you are in the wrong place. You need to flee for your life. And so I want to start by saying that there is no such perfect leader anywhere. Everybody is a work in progress. Even as leaders, we are still following. Because as leaders, we are also learning. We are also improving. You are writing a book, and you are writing a book called Scalable Leadership.
Yes.
And you told me that the concept behind this book is that as a leader, you are still scaling your height.
Yes.
You are still growing. You are still improving. And so it simply tells me that I'm not there yet. And so I will be wrong to portray myself to people around me as if I am there. I'm not there. And so that's the first mistake that people make. And then that's the same mistake that this woke generation are making too. Because they also want leaders to be perfect. They want them to never make a wrong statement. They want them to never, and I'm not talking of misbehaviors that taints your integrity. I'm not talking of character flaws here. I'm not talking of making mistakes a habit. I'm not talking of repeating the same error over and over again. I'm talking of when you just slipped up, when you just make a mistake. Those things can happen. When you say the wrong thing sometimes, those things can happen. And as a leader, you should be able to hold it that such things can happen to me. But if this generation of people feel that, oh, you are supposed to be perfect, you are supposed to never say a thing like that, you are never supposed to, no, such persons don't exist on this earth. People like Elon Musk, people like Bill Gates, people like John C. Maxwell, all of them at some point in their life, they have made some controversial statements.
That's right.
They have made some blunders. They have committed some errors. I speak a lot. Even as I'm talking right now, I have made some blunders. I have said some things that I may not intend to say the way I said it. And so there is no picture of perfection anywhere. And that is what brings me to the second point. Should there be second chances? Oh yes. Life is a life of grace. We are all a product of graces. Because you need to give yourself a second chance before people give you a second chance. And so I tell myself as a leader, I don't depend on people to give me a second chance. I dust myself up, get up, and keep moving. Because waiting for people to forgive you is like waiting endlessly sometimes. You may not get their forgiveness. They will tell you, oh, we are forgiving you, but they won't forget. They will always refer back to it. And now this woke culture, this wokeism or whatever you call it, or the cancel culture, is such that you make a mistake, you are done. We don't want to hear your voice again. Don't come on here again. But that's not what life is all about.
Yeah.
Life is all about falling and rising. Getting up after each fall. Making mistakes and correcting them. And moving on. And so I believe that leaders need to be given second chances. But the third thing, does the leader seize his fault or her fault? Does the leader accept responsibility? Or because as a man in the house, let's even just bring it to the family life. As a man at home, I make a mistake. I need to hold it and correct it. I was saying something the other day that when you have people who keep saying sorry, every time they are saying sorry about the same thing, it shows a lack of responsibility, a lack of leadership, a lack of awareness that you are hurting somebody. And so if I know that because of what I said, I have hurt you, I need to accept that. I need to make amends for that. And then I need to correct that and ensure that that doesn't happen again. And so the three things I've said is there is no perfect leader anywhere. 2, those who are following should not also expect that from the leader. They should also expect that this leader is human. He can mess up, he can fall, he can do stuff, and we forgive him, give him a chance to correct himself. Then the leader should hold up. Correct yourself. Accept responsibility. The problem for me is you have so many people who are in leadership who painted a picture of perfection, who mess up, and still does not want to accept they have messed up. So they are still living in their life of lies. They painted a picture of perfection which does not exist. And people see them mess up. And instead of them to say, oh, my bad, I messed up, they decide to just bold face it and say, oh, no, I didn't mess up. So they try to explain it away. That's not leadership. And people who follow such kind of leaders, they are bound to go into hell. That's like cult. That's like occultism, where your leader can never go wrong. Where your leader is your idol, is your God. And that's one of the things you see in many organizations. The leader paints himself as the cult hero. That can never go wrong.
Wow.
That's the problem. That's the danger.
Wow.
And that's one of the things that brought about the wokeism, the cancel culture. And so some who are now sensitive will say, it's because we are listening to this fool. That's why he thinks he can take us for a ride. He made a mistake. He doesn't want to hold it. And then he's now pretending as if he's not made a mistake. Let's cancel it.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's where they say no more grace.
Wow. In fact, Dr. Badru, you have created another conversation.
Oh, yes.
and I want us to quickly look into two more points here. Just to discuss this aspect of scalable leadership. Okay, in my book that I'm writing right now,
and I'm so excited. I can't wait for the book.
Everybody should watch out for that book, Scalable Leadership. Now, one of the things that I that I've put in the book right now is don't scale bad leadership. Because there are many people today who are in leadership who are scaling themselves. They are reproducing themselves. And they have bad content, bad attitudes. And attitudes are more important than facts.
Right.
You've said some things about people not seeing their errors, and they are in the front.
Yeah.
They are not talking about their errors, but others who are following them can see clearly that you are wrong.
Yeah.
You are not perfect in these areas.
Yeah.
They can see it because you're in the front.
Yeah.
Even if you are not talking about it.
Yeah.
So I want us to look into this. There was a time I was having a workshop, and this workshop happened in a church. And one of the ministers said, I don't like to talk to people about my mistakes. Because that day I was dealing with the issue of trust. And one of the things I was teaching was vulnerability.
Right.
You want people to speak up about their errors? You start first. Talk about how you have messed up.
Right.
Talk about what did you do to get back up.
Right.
And now, what are the results that you have achieved, that God has helped you as a minister, because you follow this and this and this to get back up. I said, it starts with you. Then watch out how everyone will start talking about theirs. She said, I don't like talking about my mistakes because people will disrespect me. I said, oh, I get it. So what do you think about that? Because you mentioned that aspect where everyone, leaders just feel like I'm perfect. I don't want people to see my scars. Maybe they don't even have scars. So can we talk about that?
You are absolutely right. You are absolutely correct. I've been a leader one way or the other for the past 25 years. I have noticed that there is nothing that resonates more with people than you being vulnerable, being truthful, being honest and sincere. I was mentioned the other time that you as a leader can decide to pretend as if there is no wound, there is no scar, you've not messed up, you've not done anything wrong, because you are trying to protect and project an image to people. But you said something now. They can see. Except they have been brainwashed, which is what happens in our courts. Except their minds have been darkened to believe your lies. Because there are leaders that have done a terrible job at damaging the mind of their followers to the point that their followers cannot even see their faults. That is the level a leader should not get to. When you get to that point and your followers defend even the indefensible, they are willing to go to any length to, some will say it is loyalty, but it's not loyalty. Some will say, oh, it is commitment. It's not commitment. You are actually digging your own graves because you are actually making them, because these same people will turn against you one day when they are tired of what you are doing. And so I agree with you. As a leader, one of my responsibilities is to show people how I live my life. Is to be a leader by example. They should be able to see me for who I am. I should be transparent. I should be accountable. They should see me. They should see me in my weaknesses and in my strength. That will help them to trust me. That will help them to follow me. That will help them to open up to me. And like you said, and so if I don't own up, and they know, let's assume that one of my followers come to my house and sees me have a very hot argument with my wife. I mean, very hot argument. And I have projected to these people that my wife and I never argues. And then, instead of me to go back to church or to wherever I am and tell them, hey guys, yeah, my wife and I got into a very hot argument, and use that as an illustration. If I don't do that, that person won't say anything. But I've lost that person. I'm already not a leader to that person anymore. Because that person will no longer regard whatever I say as the truth. And that's why, for us as leaders, we need to be truthful. in modeling, in showing, in living, in accepting responsibility. The thing is, we have to accept that we are not faultless. And we have to accept that we can make mistakes and we can correct them. And the people who follow us, they need to see us rise after our mistakes. Because if they only see us shine and they don't see us in the dark, then we are lying to them. We should show them when we have tears in our eyes. And we should show them when we are smiling. So that they can say, oh, I trust my leader.
I'm human.
I'm human as well. And so that when they have tears in their own eye, they can say, oh yeah, my leader went through it. He came out of it. I'm drawing strength, inspiration from him. I can also rise from this.
Wow.
But if I just pretend as if, oh, I've never cried. Oh, I've never had to ask for anything. Oh, I've never had to make a mistake. Then we are portraying ourselves to be dishonest and untruthful.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow. You just made some powerful point here.
Yeah.
And there's one thing I just got from what you shared.
Right.
A leader is a dealer of hope.
True. True.
It's a dealer of hope. You're dealing faith, sharing faith. You're sharing hope.
Yeah.
And you are being real, truthful. I'm human. I'm not just someone who suddenly appeared and arrived.
Yeah.
I've been through stuff too. And because I've been through it, you too can get out of whatever you're going through.
Absolutely. I am going to say this lastly. I've never been in the military, but I've been watching a lot of movies that talks about soldiers. I have never seen when a soldier in the army, in a particular team, gets wounded. I've never seen other soldiers leave him wounded.
No.
I've never.
No.
I've never. In fact, if a soldier is wounded, all the other soldiers will form a circle around him, get him out. If one of them is lost, they will mourn as if everybody has lost.
Yes.
And for them, they prioritize the recovery of the wounded soldier above winning.
Wow.
For them, winning for them is that all of them return home.
That's right.
For them, victory is that 20 of us came to this battlefield, 20 of us are going back. That is victory for them. And so if anyone is wounded, they wait. Get the person recovered. Find a way to get the person home. They don't want to lose anyone. That's leadership. All of them are leaders. Watching out for other leaders. That is the way it's supposed to be. Giving grace. But unfortunately in the church, when a leader messes up, other leaders will kill him. They gossip about him. They talk him down. They say trash about him. They pierce him the more. They wound him the more. They ridicule him. And it's a sad story of this man that died last year in Nigeria. Nigeria, West Africa. Sami Oposo.
Yeah.
He messed up. And he came to the public and he told people, I messed up. But people never forgave him.
They never did.
Oh, they wrote all manner of stuff about him. They criticized him. They abused him. And he spent the remaining few months of his life trying to impress people. Such that, because he was trying to earn the favor of people. Back, he just wanted to be back in the good book of people. Such that he was no longer resting. So, every invite he got, he was going. He just wanted to be everywhere. Yeah. And then he died of a sudden heart attack. Because he was not rested. His blood pressure was high. He was depressed. That's what we do to each other. And so I believe Jesus has shown us an example. We need to be gracious as leaders.
Wow.
Let me stop here.
We need to be gracious as leaders. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
For this.
Thank you for having me.
And this is what we do on our Effective Leadership podcast.
I love it.
Talking about hard topics.
I love it.
Because we believe that everyone has that potential in them to become a better leader.
Absolutely.
Everyone. And we know that everybody wins when the leader gets better.
Yes.
And when leaders grow, organizations flourish.
True.
And that is why we are so much passionate about leadership and helping people to become better and then scale leadership in the organization. Thank you so much, Dr. Badru.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Effective Leadership Podcast with Wale Adekala. Go out and execute what you learned today. You can change the world by being the change and making a difference. If you enjoyed today's podcast, be sure to like and subscribe. See you next time.